Hello, my fellow post-apocalyptic pathologists. I'm Mr. Church. Today we're going to be building an overgrown modern house in this grove here. We are right next to this twin pine cabins, and there's 76 over here, and this road over here. Now, there are two prison marshals that do spawn on the road. That's for a quest. If you do that, they'll go away. Otherwise, you can, of course, just do what I do when I'm escaping from the law, which is adjust their targeting parameters by doing quick maintenance on them as I go. Now, I'm moving these foundations around. You'll see that clearly in the footage, and that's because I love to dance with the devil. The devil being, of course, the foundations, because they're butt-fucking annoying to work with. Now, that's fine, but what we're actually doing is we're trying to find an area where you can do this with a foundation. That's very important. So I found a spot where it'll work, and now we're going to make a 3x3 platform over to the side of that. Over here, that's going to be like a little patio parking area thingy-majig, and I'm going to lower that as much as I can into the ground. I'd like to also lower your expectations, if I may. This is we're just making a little house, okay? And we're in Fallout 76, and I'm me, so like, now we got that out of the way, this small disclaimer. I want to put these stairs in, of course. Obviously, you can't just put a line of stairs in, because there'll be massive gaps between them, and that's a good design in my opinion. Glad they have them like that, and that they never give us wider ones, because it allows us to do fun things like this, which is, God, what? Maybe don't bother doing this, you know? And I say that only because I value your mental health, and not really because it has anything to do with the design of the build. I think it turned out good, but essentially what we're trying to do is move this one foundation over so it's halfway to that wall, which I placed as a marker. Just do that. It'll be okay. And maybe free cam mode is the best bet for this. Just like move it over like halfway. That's fine. And we're eyeballing it, so it might be off marginally. And if it is, that's fine. I know I'm off marginally on a lot of things in life. Actually, not marginally, okay? So anyway, you can only delete that foundation attached to the stair if there's another foundation attached to that foundation. That makes sense to you? No, it doesn't make sense. I didn't write the rules of the game, and neither did Bethesda Gaming Studios. They have no idea what's going on. Once a week, they come in and they play word search or Scrabble or something, and then they dump all the extra words in the code and see what happens. And now we have that one there, which will allow us to delete this one. But instead, I'm actually going to go off to the side here and delete it there instead. Now, we're going to go over by one and then, or by a half of a catwalk and then a quarter of a catwalk. And that's going to be the perfect amount, which will bring this foundation over to the right area so that they're lined up. They're flush together. There's no hickey-dicky. I wish I hadn't said that. Now, I don't know what that means either, and that's the worst part, because I imagine if it's literal, that would probably hurt quite a bit. Now, I'm going to get rid of these catwalks, and it takes an hour to do that, because this was all filmed during Fastnacht week, and Fastnacht, of course, is German for you can't fucking play Fallout 76 because the servers will crash when you try to load into them. And that's okay because you probably didn't want to play because you're just going around in a circle in the town that only has frogs and squirrels in it with occasional explosions so that you can get another beret or hopefully a goblin mask if you don't have enough of those sitting around. You know, the tusks warming your... what? Tusks don't warm things, so wherever that analogy was going, it died quickly, a short and painful death. Now, we have the stairs in, we can fill in or move these foundations back to how they go, and now we're actually going to worry about putting them in the correct orientation. Now, there is an area on the end where I didn't put the last stair, and that's because it would have been completely covered by the earth, and there's no need for it. And in fact, it eats up budget, and it also bulldozes the grass in the area. And we want this to be as overgrown as possible. That's the vibe that we're going for. And this is looking really good, though. And this is the area I mean. You could put another stair there if you want. If yours is sticking up any higher, you could. But I'm not going to do that because it's just going to bulldoze that grass, and you're not even going to see it. But if it was up any higher and you would see it, then obviously throw the stairs in there. It's fine. Now, I changed these back corner ones to this temporarily. But you can just use the normal concrete ones. They also have a plus in the middle, and that's what we're using to measure to put this inside this area. Now, the first time you place it down, it's going to go pretty poopy because you're not very good in your coordination. We all know how that's gone downhill the last few years. But the next time, you're going to be a real champion, and you're going to get it just fine. Now, you can just roll that down, just lower it into the earth, and switch these back so that we can keep track of the orientation as we build. We're going to put some stairs there, and now I'm going to throw down, in more ways than one, I'm just going to throw down the flooring, the floor plan for the build, and you'll see that we're exactly half a foundation away from the parking area thing at all times. This is going to be so fun. I'm already really excited. Now, you're going to take a catwalk and slap it on the side, and we're going to create these underpinnings here using these catwalks that we've placed on the side. Isn't that so fun how that works? And this is going to allow us to bring the texture of our walls all the way down to the ground without showing the foundation. Now, here I can't put them down because we're too low. We'll worry about that later. I like to shelve all my problems for another time, as long as that time isn't anytime soon. Now you're going to be able to place walls on the top. Putting underpinnings in first will allow you to double wall it without having to, put a foundation around the outside of it. But instead of a normal double wall, we're going to do doorways on the outside, and we're going to do glass panes, or half walls actually, but we're going to change them into glass panes on the inside. Now, this will, of course, create little window thingies for us to look out of, and then I'll do a concrete one on the top. I'm not sure about that spot yet. We'll come back to it. Concrete thingies, and then we'll have this. I want to put the little bit of, thank you. We're going to put the abandoned mine wallpaper on the outside. It'll give the whole house this very rusty, it's gonna die soon look. Not sure what I'm doing with this. I'm gonna make it just a full wall for now. Now go through and change these all to the steel wall, because it's going to affect the edge and make that look much better than if you had it as like a wood wall. You'll see the edge there on the wall is now a dark shade. Make sure they're all that way and go through it. Just like I'm going through it right now. Now, we're going to place down a cappy rug, mostly because they're horrific looking. And then you're going to take the alien stasis bed, or symptomatic if you don't have that, and place it on top of that. Place down a pressure plate, pick it up, and put it down again, which will push the button down and keep it down. And much like I wish you would push the subscribe button down if you're not subscribed already. Did you see what I did there? Very clever. How nice of you to work that in. I'm sure the people watching at home have never heard anyone say that before. I apologize if you've clicked off already. GG's, I appreciate that. Thank you for your honesty. Now let's take the foundation and we're going to move this out. Now what I just created, if it was going too fast for you, is just a little thingy that I can go under the map with. So that when I go under the map, I can stand on the carpet that's down there. And this will allow me to come down underneath the ground and take a wall and slap it in there where we couldn't get it from above ground. Now you will need to use specific walls. Not all of them will work. Jump up here, move this over, or if you're intelligent, leave your free cam mode above ground, go downstairs, do your thing, go above ground with your free cam mode, etc. But I'm not intelligent, so I didn't do that, and I'm kind of offended that you would assume that of me, to be completely honest. Now put this out of the fucking way, move this out of here, and we're going to leave it alive because you might need it later. and put that back in the way it goes using that. Now on this corner here, I'm using this little design using the new abandoned walls. Yeah, it's abandoned mine walls, what I meant to say. I first saw Scullyface doing this. I saw it on an Instagram post, but she streams on Twitch, so I'm going to link her Twitch channel in the description if you want to go check her out. She does a lot of Fallout 76 content. Speaking of Twitch, I also stream on Twitch, and I'm going to link that as well. I usually mention it at the end of my videos, but I know a lot of you guys are so itching to go grab a huge chunk of cheese and just start ripping huge chunks of it out with your little rat teeth that you don't always stick it out to the end, and you might have missed that. And if you do, I understand, and I also understand that strong urge to devour cheese with rat teeth. I actually have tusks of my own, and I actually have always appreciated you because I always felt like we fit in because of our teeth thing that we had going on. What do you mean you don't have rat teeth? Well, I was joking. Like, what? What? No, like, it's okay. Like, I was talking about my teeth only, not your teeth. Look really good. Oh, you must have had braces because they're actually, so anyway, what we're doing right here is, we're going to put down all these, walls, shack walls, of course. And you're only able to do that on a foundation in the way I showed if you put a mat down on the floor. This is an important fact. If you ever want to use blueprints where you place walls on top of foundations, just put a carpet down underneath that, and you should be good to go. Then we're going to burn the absolute fuck out of those. I'll show them in better detail later, but they're just kind of like a awning thing for the front porch. Now for the inside, we have those double walls, but on the inside of those double walls are 2 half walls. And so I want to put a third wall so that we can have like an interior of the big windows that we created. So I want to, we can't put 3 walls in one place. So I've gone into this area and I've eyeballed this foundation and pulled it out just the exact amount thickness of a wall. And when we put a foundation in here, we should hopefully, like this, we should hopefully see that there's a exactly wall-sized gap here. That means you've done it correctly. This is so that when we place a wall here facing inwards, it's on the same plane as the outside walls. And this is important because when we go over, we're going to go over 2 full-length well, let me burn these first. But we're going to go over with catwalks and down to create the inner wall. And so we want them to be exactly 1 wall away from the walls, if that makes any sense. And honestly, even if it doesn't make sense, I still want that to happen. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. So as you can see, that should be right on the edge of that, but a full thickness of wall away, and that should snap in perfectly and be the correct thing. And again, you're probably going to want to burn the double walls just so there's no worries about collision, and you will need to put a carpet down for that to snap in, and just move everything over, pull this out so that it's along there, and now you might start to see why I only did this special window on 3 of the walls instead of all the way around. But you're going to do this, and as you do it, you're going to think about like what you've done in your life so far, and it's going to really depress you. So you're going to, grab a little bit of that special stuff that you like to have when you feel a little down. And as you consume it, you're going to start thinking, well, fuck, I'm going to have to tell my therapist about this if we're going to maintain the honesty and the rapport that we have so far. And that's really a bummer. And that will deter you for a few more minutes, but as you begin building more, you're going to realize, well, that wasn't enough. Let's just do more of this stuff. So we're going to remove that stuff, and it's dark footage and terrible. And I honestly thought with the lighting being how bad it's been, and there's no shadows in the game, that it would be easier to see this footage when I recorded it. But I happen to be in a very dark area on the map. It just so happens to have like good lighting, and that was by chance. Because of that, this might be harder to see. Now, if you're having a hard time looking at stuff that's dark, sometimes you can turn the brightness settings up on the device you're watching it on. And sometimes you can also not lay directly in the sunlight while you're watching videos instead of enjoying nature. So those are some options that I have. I hope some of that helps. But let me know in the comments section just how horrific this area was to look at. And next time I make a video, I can passive-aggressively build 75 spotlights and shine them on my build, washing it out, just to be cheeky because I have nothing better to do with my time. That's my advice. You don't have to do it, of course. It's a free country, and I don't know what I'm talking about now. But we're going to snap over this way. And we're just going to do it on these two spots, and then I promise you we'll be done. No more of these stupid 3 walls. Once you've done that, you're going to change the inner wall. Well, this one we're going to do this special one so that we have that triangular thingy-mig. And then this one as a steel one. And then you're going to want to repair the glass inside it at some point. Also, you might want to go into FreeCam to repair the glass. You can do repair all, but then you'll have to burn the terrace area again. Now, to put a roof in with the triple wall, you will need to use slanted roofs and then fold them down. And this is because the triple wall hates you almost as much as Bethesda Gaming Studios hates giving the player base items that work when they charge you money for them. Now, of course, I'm not talking about the hedges or the barn set, and I'm not talking about the barn, and I'm also not talking about the iron fence, and I'm also not as well talking about the greenhouse dome that crashes the game when you burn it. And I'm not specifically talking about the vines, which can only be placed on a basic wall. And I'm really not talking about... I don't remember what I'm talking about. But it's not any of those things or the wallpaper that doesn't line up when you put it on the triangle pieces. Now let's go over here, and we're just going to sink down some grass and ferns into this car. And I will be honest, I try to be honest as much as possible. I love these rusty cars, almost as much as I like rusty spoons, but actually not quite that much. But I'm going to put these on one foundation, just centered on one foundation, and then we're going to sink it down into the foundation using the foundation merge. Now, I don't know who first discovered this, but I will try to find a video if you need a little bit more instruction on this, of this merge specifically. I know there's a channel out there that does have a merging tutorial, and the name of it is Nuka Violet. So I'll link that merge. Actually, yeah, I'll link that merge video in the description, and I think she definitely covers foundation merging. So you can check that out if I didn't show you well enough how it's done, which is probable. Now, you will have to burn the car and it blows up, I forgot to say, if you want to put these foundations back in. But I'm sure you can manage that. It's just you take a flame trap and then you burn it. So don't walk on that. And so then this is why I work with these striped planks, because it's good. Now, real quick, on the back side here, we're going to make a glass wall that opens up. But you can either do this way, which is very simple, just 2 of these, or you can do this. And I'm going to show you a demonstration of what I ended up doing in the end, but this is a lot more complicated. So if you just want to do the normal glass walls, that's completely fine. It'll work perfectly. If you don't, do this inside there, not out here in the lawn. So just build 2 barn walls, half walls. They're the best wall set in the game, so you have to use barn. You can also use the warehouse set. Then you can take a full wall of that type and build it right inside it, and it kind of triples it up. Now change the full wall to a rusty greenhouse wall. Now this one you can just burn the fuck out of, and it has a really unique texture with this metal baseboard on the bottom. And then we're going to go into free cam mode, which will allow us to interact with the half walls that are very difficult to interact with otherwise. And you're going to go inside it till you can grab the half wall, delete it, and then the top one, go up and repair it. So you just keep going till you see on the top right corner, it says wall half, and then you know you have it. And then go and change it to a normal glass wall. And this will give you the broken pane look, which you'll see later. If you don't want to do that, just do this. Now, we're going to use this blueprint. And I saw Mr. Church had a video on blueprints, but I couldn't remember how to do this one, and I couldn't find the video on it, but I was able to figure it out myself. It's not that complicated. Honestly, it's really simple. A caveman could figure it out. So this won't go down. You need to put a carpet down underneath this if you want to place walls from a blueprint on top of a foundation. But if you can figure that out, you'll be golden. And then just change these these half walls, I should say, into the normal glass half walls. Anyway, let's move on from that. That's neither here nor there. Now, you can't place anything on top of these shelters, but I want to use it as like a concrete island in the kitchen. But you can, if you blueprint an item at the exact height of it with another item on the ground, you can then take that blueprint and place it on top of it, and it'll let you do it. And then once you do that, the shelter entrance is, of course, the support for the other item. And I'm going to make a big one because I hate myself. So you're going to use this blueprint to get the one in the middle here, which you can easily make once you get one on top. Just make a second blueprint with a carpet on the end of it. And I'm going to take a pressure plate, place it down, pick it up and put it down again. And then we can start sinking things down just like we always like to. And I like that sinking feeling that I get when I log onto the game and I try to join a server and it just has this like infinite loading screen or just directly crashes because I'm not sure why actually, but it's fine. And I do think, with all genuine honesty, this video would be out sooner, maybe a week sooner, if I wasn't having all these issues actually getting the game to run smoothly, to log in, and I'm having it on PC and PlayStation, different things, but consistently. Now, I'm sinking this down into a spike board trap, and the reason is simple. I can't put these two things together unless I can somehow get rid of the collision of that piece in the middle that's like sticking into the other one. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the table that's in the middle? I don't know. So I'm merging these down until it's flush with the bottom of that shelter piece. And then I'm going to be able to just pick it up. And it's, make sure you pick it up by the flip trap, or you're going to be in deep shit, to be completely honest. Now, I'm clearing my throat with righteousness because I didn't exactly line it up really good when I first tried to do this. See how it's sticking out a little lip? So this is a proof of concept. I'm going to redo it, obviously, but the idea is simple. You can flip the flippy trap up, which will disappear the top item, and then you can move this second one in as close as possible into the other item. And then when you repair the flippy trap, which you'll be able to get much closer, it will then be inside the other one, which reminds me of Valentine's Day. No, it reminds me of... So there's a gap there. If you do it correctly, which I'm going to do now, I'm going to fix it. Just move it over this way a bit. It will be flush. And then you can use that as a measuring area. So you can bring it inside. Now I burned this wall in here so that, see how there's little spikes sticking out of the end there? That's so they can go into that broken wall. And I changed this flooring to these checkers to line it up easier. And I'm going to wedge it between the two windows here. And then just flip the flippy trap. Now when you pick this up, be very careful that you're picking up the flippy trap. I actually picked up the shelter entrance like 7 times and had to redo that part, and I was getting really pissed off. And I started swearing profusely, but then I realized I've already been fucking doing that. So no one noticed the difference there at all whatsoever. Now, this is a little stove thing I'm going to make. Now, what you're going to do is sink this stuff down pretty much all the way, just like that. And then what you're going to do is use the camp node to pop them back up. Just do one. And then you're going to grab these conduits and pick them up. But don't stand too close. If you stand close to something, it turns red. It gets embarrassed because you're in its personal space. So stand a little bit back, and you don't want to get really near that. But keep the other items sunken in as much as they are. This is the perfect amount so that when you sink these down, the burners of the stove will be sticking up just enough, and the little hats on the snowmen will be knobs. And I don't want to say the word knob anymore, so let's bring this inside as quickly as possible. Now, I did end up getting rid of the snow globe, which was going to be like the dial of it, because it was too red on the back, but you can keep it in there if you want. And we're going to be stacking this on top of something, or merging it down into something until it's just at the right height to just barely stick out of that wood, which I'll show you that later. But for now, it's really time to make an extension to the house because it just isn't big enough or, complicated enough. So let's add to we're out the back here. And I went over by 2 foundations, and I put 2 half walls on that side and 1 full wall. And I came over, and the reason why I did that is these slanted ones that were flattened are slightly higher than if you just place them normally on the wall. Now you're going to burn that one, you're going to burn this roof piece, and you're going to burn every last bridge you ever had, because, you want to. And why wouldn't you do that? Because I think that it's probably responsible. Now, pick this up and move it over, and what we're trying to do here is get a little bit of a double wall inside there at a specific area. So burn that for now. Now come over by a half of a catwalk, place this in for now, remove catwalk, move the foundation back in here, and then we can double wall inside here using warehouse walls, or the barn set if you really want to look at something that looks so gaudy and repulsive and unrealistic that it would never exist in this world. Now we have this double wall inside here. You can put this back, store that, and just flatten this down, and then you can repair that. You can repair that, and this will give us a little room divider. This will be the bedroom, and then this spot back here will be a little bathroom. I'm going to throw in these concrete walls. I do end up switching all these concrete walls to double walls, which you can easily do by placing a foundation on the outside and then using the warehouse doorways to double wall it. This stays glass, just the way Todd intended. I want to add, Todd never intended any of this. He doesn't even know people still play this game. He flies in once a month and says, has anyone seen my, and that's about the amount of time he devotes to the game, and after that he doesn't even have time to finish the sentence. People are still wondering what he's after. I don't think that it's hairspray, but it could be. That's one of the guesses in the community, but we're not sure. All he does is come in, put a banner that says Starfield on the floor, reminds everyone that if you're playing PlayStation, you can't play, and then he leaves, and then says Happy Fashnacht. But that's generous. I don't even think he knew Fashnacht was happening. Let's do this fun TV thing because, well, I really probably getting off topic here. These are just the backs of aquarium TVs. And you're going to want to have the TV raised up that much before you start sinking these down, so that when they all sink down, they're at the right height. So don't be concerned about that or confused. I'm confused quite often, but it's something fun that I like to do in my spare time, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. So now these vines they added to the game, they actually don't snap to half walls. And that's because the people that make stuff for the game, they don't actually have the game installed on their devices. They've never played it before. They don't realize that maybe sometimes people also use other walls other than a fucking full wall. And that's, you know, fair enough, you know. You shouldn't be expected to know how the game works. You don't own it. That's fine. But anyway, if you turn it into a doorway, you can then delete it out from under there, and then you can place the half walls back in. This is one way of getting around the completely irrational, idiotic, moronic, and stupid building restrictions that they constantly have in the game. Now, this is a stupid thing that I had to do to get a little bit of a vine down under the map. See how you can't put it on a half wall. And we can't just have a full wall under there, because when the for this specific wallpaper, the full wall and the half wallpapers are different. So I can't just do that and then make this be that, because watch this. If I put the wallpaper on it, it's got that little Y thing on it, which the half walls don't have. So that's not going to work. So what we have to end up doing, changing it to a doorway, deleting it, and then getting a quarter wall back, or a half wall back in there, which we then have to, of course, delete the vines on the bottom, and just get rid of the vines on the top, actually. You know, you can put the catwalk in and then re-snap this in. Simple as that, guys. Now, there is actually a simpler way of putting these in that I discovered after this was all said and done. But that was coming in a future video, very future, as far as that's concerned. Now, I put it on this shack wall and burned it, and there it went, and then I could repair that, and it looks like it's hanging down. Oh, glory be. This is the flames. I sunk it into a tire, and then I put this on top of it. Now, I should probably mention, I've been going non-stop explaining how I did everything and bitching about my personal problems, that I forgot to mention that the whole concept of this overgrown modern house is that it's post-apocalyptic, which I think I pronounced incorrectly, but you didn't notice until I drew attention to it, is, you know, it's been overgrown, overrun, and taken over by nature, and then someone's living in it, but in like a camping sort of way. So that's fun. So we're gonna scrap it up a bit. I came over this way with catwalks because we're gonna throw a piece of corrugated metal on the roof, and we're gonna do that by snapping downward. This will give us a foundation that's at the same height as the house. We're going to rotate it the orientation we want the piece of metal to be, and then we're going to raise it up ever so slightly, just about the amount that a thickness of a roof would be, but slightly less. Then come over this way. Then we're going to come in with these normal roofs, and you're not going to be able to place a roof overlapping another roof like that. So take these, get them big and burnable. These are nice because they stick up so much. You can grab the burning thing of power and the generator of power and burn them with power. Yeah, okay. Well, at least you don't wonder if I script these anymore, especially, you know, not after that debacle. And now let's just burn this shit all the way out. Take that out of here and put a roof in, a flat roof of any kind that you want. Switch it to any other type like this, which will break the support, which means you'll be able to delete these roofs and get them out of here. And now what's going to happen is we're going to repair these roofs, and then we can change them to flats. Now, for the rest of the roofing, I just did slanted roofs, which I then flattened down, just like I showed doing on the other area. I cut out a lot of footage because this, there was so many things I did in here that it was so long. I didn't want it to be as long as your father, you know? No, I didn't mean to say it like that. Your father's conversations that he has with you is what I was... Now, I made this little butane stove by merging these two ships in a bottle, neck to neck, and then I merged down 4 incense burners. And I'm going to place them on a foundation, and then we're going to get this foundation out of here so we can drop merge it down, so we can just have the top of that for the butane stove. Now, you will need to burn this window here because it's a half wall, which means the foundation is supporting it. So in order to get this out of here, you will have to burn that. And we're going to come over here and again do this little merge thing like so. And we're just going to bring it down so it looks like a little portable butane stove. And close enough, you know? Someone's going to believe that that's what that is, especially if I tell them in a YouTube video. So that's a butane stove. Believe it or not, that's what that's supposed to be. And that is fun. Now, this is just a little stupid thing. In order to get rocks into the apple bobber bin, I merged them together and then floated them up on a rug and then burned that. But let's look at the finished product. I think that there's probably nothing you'd rather do more after 7,000 hours of watching me run around chaotically. But the idea of this build is, you know, it's been sitting here since the war, but before the war it was like really a forward progressive modern house that some artist or something lived in, and I love how it turned out. I think this is maybe the favorite thing that I've ever built of my own things. And we have these walls, which I had to, of course, change to a normal wall and then back to whatever they are for the vines to be on them, because we can't just place them on the walls as wall decorations, even though that's what they are. And that's, I think, because they like us to have as much fun as possible playing the game. Oh, wait, we can't play the game because we just crashed again. That's okay. I actually am enjoying that aspect. Let's look inside, though, and see what we can see. Now, when you first come in, there's going to be obvious signs of disuse and brokenness, and whatnot. There's thingies along the wall, and I used, I like how you can see the car out the window, by the way. Just a little side note. In the bedroom, we have lots of stuff happening. When I double walled these, I put a shack wall on one side, and I put the new mining wall set on the other side, and it meshed the wood patterns together so well. It made this really cool wood texture, and then of course I put the vines on that. And then using the abandoned mine roofing, which is amazing because you can look up and you can actually see like trees through the holes in the roof. And I did the same thing on this side, but I used warehouse walls on one side and the abandoned mine wall on the other. I took a scrap box and I put it on top of this and I sunk it all the way down. I need to have a scrap box in my camp. That's a non-negotiable. It's just too important to not have. I definitely, probably also want to add that the broken door that you saw in the hallway is the destroyed mobile home door. And it's just, you just put it in the doorway and then burn it, and it'll look like that. I sunk down 2 little snowmen into that little sinky thing that we're not looking at anymore because I'm not actually controlling the camera as we're talking. I'm just hoping that you'll see it as knobs for the sink. We're leaving. We're not even looking at that stuff. Okay, that's fine. I didn't want to show it in my video anyway. I do have agency in my life. It may not seem like it, but sometimes I'm not so sure about that. Those are desks merged together and then drop merged into the foundation. I also want to take the time right now to give a huge shout out to Vapid Valentine. She came in here and she helped me a lot with the decoration in terms of helping me set the mood in here, helping me pick out like the flooring and the wall things, There's that burner thing again. She also helped me with like the lighting and stuff. And she's also the person that inspired this build in the first place, because I saw her mid-century modern home, which she built a few months ago. I'm going to link that as well so you guys can check it out. She's one of the best builders in the game, and if you guys don't have a Vapid Valentine at home and you need help with the lighting, Nuka Violet also has a lighting tutorial, which I will link as well. But anyway, thank you so much, V, for your help. This really is my favorite thing that I've built, but I couldn't have done it without you. This it looks so good. I'm actually just getting wet. This is Monument drop merged down with different benches merged together on the top. These are the nails that we made. And these stilts from Nuka World actually look like crutches in this context, I think, like homemade crutches. And they're next to this little area where we sleep. We don't really sleep in the bedroom because it's kind of nasty. Like you guys saw how it's kind of being overtaken by nature too much. And I love how that looks with a pane missing right there on that door. And I hope the chaotic camera work is just what you always wanted. I know it's definitely stressing me out right now, but luckily I can go back into the past and change my actions, and so I won't be in this position in the first place, sitting here sweating in Mom's basement. Now the chicken coop broken is an amazing pile of wood, and it's the table that used to be there. And on the back here, because we didn't do a triple wall, I had to sell the idea that there are panes that are missing from the inside of that. So that wall helps sell the idea that there's panes missing. And there's a tree that I put outside pushing through as well. So I think that looks awesome. Like some pieces are missing and broken, but we actually technically couldn't have put panes in there if we wanted. So it does us a favor, and it also adds to the build as well. And you want to think about the theme of your build while you're building it and try to stay on theme as much as possible, because that's going to guide the decisions you make as far as decoration, lighting, if you're going to have lights on and stuff. Like inside here, also, by the way, I sunk that down into the stove. Use the flippy trap and then just placed it there because there's nothing there. When you use the flippy trap, it's gone. And then you can just repair the flippy trap and everything comes back. Super simple. It's just drop merge into a stove so that I could have an oven in the front of it. But anyway, everything in here is I tried to make it as rustic as possible while also having the vibes that I needed. This is all just a thing that's drop merged into a cabinet, and the fridge is drop merged into the cabinet as well. They're next to each other. It's a simple merge. Don't worry about it. I didn't show a lot of stuff. Again, I have lights in here, but they're all turned off. We just use candle lights and lanterns to light up the build, and also the light of our own joy, the light of our lives, our happiness that we have and bring to other people. That's what it is. This stuff there's so many details in here, and there's so many things that I love about this. Like this broken Flying Fortress door, I just placed it and burned it and laid there. I put brambles down, and then I moved these foundations out, put brambles in, and then put them back to get this overgrown look, and mixing in this stuff with the foliage to try to give that idea. And in this context, this looks like a lawnmower that's mowing everything, and I put trees around here to try to add to that nature taking back thing. And then this is a potted tree that I drop merged down into these other stilts that are hidden, basically, to make it look like this tree's just growing out here. There's so many details in this build, but it's just overgrown. I'm stressing myself out. There's so much happening here. Now, I will be uploading a little bit more footage of the camp to my Patreon and also to YouTube for members to see. So that's something to note. I just decided right now, so now I have to go do it. That's the best way to motivate yourself, is lock yourself into an impossible situation to get out of. It's never stressful, and it always works out. But speaking of Patrons and members, thank you so much for your support, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys are interested in supporting me in that way, the link for that will be in the description. but don't feel pressured in any way. Please join the Discord. It's a great community that we have there. Again, I stream on Twitch, and the link for that is also in the description. The description is just a bunch of links. Just dig through the ones and find the one you want, or flip a coin and pick the one that's your favorite. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.